Well, oh, it said I'm live now.
Oh shit! I gotta go in there and say and do something. Do something, right?
Uh, oh, it said I'm live now.
I gotta go in there and say and do something, right?
Does it say did it ask you anything like to join, or let me just tag you? Oh, there you go.
About to get off the call.
Yeah, I got you. I just sent you a request. All right. So I don't know if who all on here, if they get on.
It's me and you right now.
Right. All right. So
Welcome, welcome, welcome. That smile.
I think that's Millie, bro.
Oh, that's Millie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's up? What's up? How y'all doing?
Latana. So, just so for y'all joining in here, what we're gonna be doing is reading some of the book, "The Mis-Education of the Negro" by Carter G. Woodson. What's up, everybody? So we come in here to, fulfill y'all with some information. You got the physical copy, don't you? Go on and show them the cover.
Yeah, so this is what we're gonna be checking out: The Mis-Education of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. It is Black History Month, and he is known as the father of Black history. So it's only right that you start off the first day reading some of his work. This is some groundbreaking work, different material from back then, and hopefully y'all stick around and chop it up with us.
Interesting fact that I didn't really know: Carter G. Woodson was the second Black man to graduate from Harvard. That's big right there.
Right,
That's
facts.
big.
Hopefully people know that the first one was Du Bois.
Yeah.
So like, hopefully, yo, we can save this and post it on the YouTube channel too, right?
Most definitely. Yeah, we can do whatever we want with this.
We'll do that then.
Thank y'all for joining in. We're gonna read. If y'all want to join, hop in the conversation. Obviously, type it in the comments, and we're gonna try to interact with y'all as much as we can. Um, so that you want to start with the forward?
I was actually gonna read the back of it first, and
Yeah, go ahead.
then go with that. So on the back of it says, "The Mis-Education of the Negro" is a book originally published in 1933 by Dr. Carter G. Woodson. The thesis of Dr. Woodson's book is that African Americans of his day were being culturally indoctrinated rather than taught in American schools. This conditioning, he claims, causes African Americans to become dependent and seek out inferior places in the greater society of which they are a part. He challenges his readers to become autodidacts and to do for themselves, regardless of what they were taught. And it ends with a quote saying, "History shows that it does not matter who is in power. Those who have not learned to do for themselves and have to depend solely on others never obtain any more rights or privileges in the end than they did in the beginning."
Hold on, say that last line again.
So I said, history shows that
Yeah.
it does not matter who is in power. Those who have not learned to do for themselves and have to depend solely on others never obtain any more rights or privileges in the end than they did in the beginning.
Mm, that's powerful.
What's up, fam?
What up,
What's
Bossy?
up, Bossy?
We finna get in some
Yo,
knowledge, man.
yo, stick in here with us, bro.
Rolonsky 615. What's up? Love Atlanta. We finna dive in.
Yeah, we about to chop it up on this Carter G. Let's see. Is there anything else we should start off with? Like just any other overall context around the book? Because I know for myself, after reading this and becoming an educator, like it really changed my whole perspective. Because I was still in college during this time period when I was reading, and that's good, bro. And the thing is, like as I was reading it, I was like, wow, I'm really actually feeding into the indoctrination of this. Like I haven't learned anything about how I can actually teach these children what really what's going to benefit them in life, how to take care of themselves, and what they actually need to know. And really, when I actually became an educator, realized I was really piping up in that school to prison pipeline system. Like I was a perpetuator of it. So this book right here made me re-question everything and basically is one of the top 5 books that I had when I first started reading that actually really changed my perspective and got me out of public school, to be honest with you, and sparked that continuous journey of curiosity to find out, like, what else do I not know out here? Like, what else can I teach to my students and whatnot? Because although it's short, it's a great book. So,
you know, personally, I've never read it, but you know, I think that a lot of things I already hold are going to align closely with what he's saying in this book. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. So let's see. You want me to start off with the forward, and you got the preface?
Say let's run it.
All right, bet. So the forward, it says, the thoughts brought together in this volume have been expressed in recent addresses and articles written by the author. From time to time, persons deeply interested in the point of view therein presented have requested that these comments on education be made available in book form. To supply this demand, this volume is given to the public. In the preparation of this volume, the author has not followed in detail the productions upon which most of the book is based. The aim is to set forth only the thought developed in passing from the one to the other. The language in some cases, then, is entirely new, and the work is not a collection of essays. In the way, repetition has been avoided except to emphasize the thesis which the author sustains. Carter G. Woodson, Washington, D.C., January 1933.
1933. So he wrote this 70, more than 70, like 90 years ago.
And watch how, what's up, Queen? What's up, Queen? And watch how a lot of what's in this book is the same thing we're talking about today. like almost, what's up, Caviar? It's almost, we're almost 100 years, we're 13 years away from 100 years from this book. And I bet money we still gonna be talking about
we got the same issues. You feel me?
Yeah. So are you ready for the forward?
I'm ready. I'll go ahead.
Preface.
All right. So preface. Herein are recorded not opinions, but the reflection of one who 40 years has participated in the education of black, brown, yellow, and white races in both hemispheres and in tropical and temperate regions. Such experience, too, has been with students in all grades from kindergarten to the university. The author, moreover, has traveled around the world to observe not only modern school systems in various countries, but to study the special systems set up by private agencies and governments to educate the natives in their colonies and dependencies. Some of these observations, too, have been checked against more recent studies on a later tour. Discussing herein the mistakes made in the education of the Negro, the writer frankly admits that he has committed some of these errors himself. In several chapters, moreover, he specifically points out wherein he himself has strayed from the path of wisdom. This book, then, is not intended as a broadside against any particular person or class, but is given as a corrective for methods which have not produced satisfactory results. The author does not support the once popular view in that matters of education, Negroes are rightfully subjected to the will of others on the presumption that these poor people are not large taxpayers and must be content with charitable contributions to their uplift. The author takes the position that the consumer pays the tax, and as such, every individual of the social order should be given unlimited opportunity to make the most of himself. Such opportunity, too, should not be determined from without by forces set to direct the proscribed element in a way to redound solely to the good of others, but should be determined by the makeup of the Negro himself and by what his environment requires of him. First thing I'm gonna just point out here is that this language is like from obviously from 90 years ago.
Yeah. But get that next sentence, and I kind of want to speak on that real quick.
Okay. All right. Sure. This new program of uplift, the author contends, should not be decided upon by the trial and error method in the application of devices used in dealing with others in a different situation at another epoch.
All right, so just real quick, just for those that are still on here, keep in mind with that quote right there, that's talking about self-determination. And this is something that's brought up a lot when we're talking about revolutionary acts and becoming self-sustainable people and fighting, quote unquote, fighting the system. And something that you can see now in today's time is the 1619 Project, right? If y'all haven't heard of the 1619 Project, please go check it out. So 1619 Project is actually acknowledging the wrongs of this country, right? Actually trying to help right our wrongs. While Trump actually came out and started the 1776 Project with that administration. And it's basically going off, if I'm taking the words of Jacob Carruthers, it is basically intellectual warfare. It's just a warfare between whose point of view is going to be taught to the next generations to come. And as we've seen, the 1776 Project, and y'all can look it up. It's on PDF. We might actually get the chance to check that out. It's only 40-some pages. Only 20 of it is really worth reading. And it's basically the same education system that got us to where we are today. And so essentially that's right there is speaking to that. Again, this is over 70 years ago. And we're still talking about self-determination, determining your actual education and whatnot, and not having your oppressors give it to you. But you got it from there. That's what I'm saying. My bad.
Right. So for y'all that are just coming in here, we are reading and discussing The Mis-Education of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. I wish I could have had time to send y'all the PDF so y'all could read with us, but we're going to keep this up throughout Black History Month. We're going to try to probably try to get through this book on live. So, you know, if y'all want to have the PDF to read along with us, just send us a DM and we can shoot y'all the ebook. Probably not while we're on live, but for the next time we got y'all. All right, so I'm going to continue. Only by careful study of the Negro himself and the life which he is forced to lead can we arrive at the proper procedure in this crisis. The mere imparting of information is not education. Above all things, the effort must result in making a man think and do for himself, just as the Jews have done in spite of the universal persecution. And thus, eliminating the results obtained from the so-called education of the Negro, the author does not go to the consensus figures to show the progress of race. It may be of no importance to the race to be able to boast today of many times as many educated members as it had in 1865. That's a statement right there.
Right. Because you definitely see it where they be like, oh, we got more educated Black women than ever. But what are you educating them on?
Exactly.
What are you indoctrinating? So
if they are of the wrong kind, the increase in numbers will be a disadvantage rather than an advantage. So it's like, what are you doing with this education? And what education are you getting? Is it education that's going to empower you, or is it education that's going to keep you trapped in your mindset? So that's something to think about. The only question which concerns us here is whether these educated persons are actually equipped to face the ordeal before them, or unconsciously contribute to their own undoing by perpetuating the regime of the oppressor. Here lies no argument for the oft-heard contention that education for the white man should mean one thing and for the Negro should be a different thing. The element of race does not enter here. It is merely a matter of exercising common sense and approaching people through their environment in order to deal with the conditions as they are, rather than as you would like to see them or imagine that they are. There may be a difference in method of attack, but the principle remains the same. Highly educated Negroes denounce persons who advocate for the Negro, a sort of education different in some respects from that now given to the white man. Negroes have been so long inconvenienced and denied opportunities for development, they are naturally afraid of anything that sounds like discrimination. They are anxious to have everything the white man has, even if it is harmful. The possibility...
Because that right there, that is some bars, bro. Carter G is spitting right there, because it's like people, when I talk about as far as having an African-centered education, or having an education that's more so for a Black child in today. Yeah, he said, read that again.
He said, read that again. I got you.
Bro, highly educated. He started that highly because, again,
no, finish your statement though, and I'm gonna go into it.
Because it's like you may be fighting for something that's bad for you. You may be fighting for your own destruction. And again, he said Negroes have been so long inconvenienced. You know, you think it's all discrimination, but in reality, you need to actually look for what's yours. Don't be anxious for what this white man has. Like that doesn't what builds the white man's house does not necessarily
Can't
build
build
our
you.
house. You
Yeah.
know, our histories are different.
And
So
what builds the, I mean, what builds the white man, if you follow that, you're going to turn into a white man.
exactly. And all you gotta know, follow the money, right? That's what they be saying. Follow the money, right? It's all gonna lead back to the exploitation of Africa. It don't matter what it is. It all leads back to that. So, but start back, run that back, run that back.
Run that
Run
back.
that back. Like,
Highly educated, quote unquote, Negroes denounce persons who advocate for the Negro a sort of education different in some respects from that now given to the white man. Negroes who have been so long inconvenienced and denied opportunities for development are naturally afraid of anything that sounds like discrimination. They are anxious to have everything the white man has, even if it is harmful. The possibility of originality in the Negro, therefore, is discounted 100% to maintain a nominal equality. If whites decides to take up Mormonism,
yeah.
the Negroes must follow their lead. If the whites neglect such a study, then the Negroes must do likewise. The author, however, does not have such an attitude. He considers the educational system as it is developed in both Europe and America and antiquated. I don't know how to say that.
Antiquated. My bad. Antiquated, bro.
Antiquated, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, correct
Process
me too.
which,
There's words that I don't normally be using or be in books. So like, yeah, correct me too if it happens.
facts. So I'm gonna start that sentence over. And for everybody that's just joining in, we are reading The Mis-Education of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson, the originator of Black History Month. So, you know, it's only right that we dive into this material and see what he has to say. He considers the education as developed in both Europe and America and say it for me, come on.
An antiquated.
Antiquated process which does not hit the mark even in the case of the needs of the white man himself. If the white man wants to hold on to it, let him do so, but the Negro, as far as he is able, should develop and carry. Right there speaks to the education system and how American education system isn't just meant to hold us down, it's meant to keep them ignorant too, so we all ignorant.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. He says it right there. This ain't no race thing. It's common sense. It's common sense. You should be trying to get an education that helps you understand the environment around you and how to be one with it, how to use it to benefit your people. Like it's not no, it don't have to be a black and white thing. And this is just common sense. But he just speaking to who his people are. And that's a lot of what we be talking about. And that gets misconstrued when we get to like bigger levels and bigger what's it, crowds and whatnot for people that's not in our crowd, that's not for us, and they want to say we talking about hate speech or something. Someone's always talking about black and white, but it's like no, bro. Like this is common sense. You know,
Yeah.
you want an education that helps you thrive, an education that helps you build. Like we're number 13 in math. If I'm wrong, I might be off on that. It was like 13 in math or reading, like internationally. That's not top 10. That's not top 5. Like what kind of so it's not just us being miseducated.
And you know, as you continue learning, you learn how many lies that you're taught as a child. And what does that do to your consciousness as a kid and how you perceive the world? Like the years, like those years are the most important years of your life.
Shapes you, molds you,
right?
builds you.
The so-called modern education, and I see we got some more people in here. We're reading The Mis-Education of the Negro. The so-called modern education, with all its defects, however, does others so much more good than it does the Negro, because it has been worked out in conformity to the needs of those people who have enslaved and oppressed weaker peoples. For example, the philosophy and ethics resulting from our educational system have justified slavery, peonage, segregation, and lynching. The oppressor has the right to exploit, to handicap, and to kill the oppressed. Negroes daily educated in the tenets of such a religion of the strong have accepted the status of the weak as divinely ordinated. And during the last 3 generations of their nominal freedom, they have done practically nothing to change it. Their pouting and resolutions indulged by a few of the race have been of little avail. So how many more pages we got in here? I'm gonna let you take the second half, Zach.
All right, baby. This is where my highlights start again. So,
Okay. Point them
what's
out,
up,
man.
bro? Hey, to
What's
all y'all
good?
in there, what's up? What's up? I appreciate y'all checking in with us.
Yes,
Um,
my shit. It's good, bro.
all right, so it says no systematic effort towards change has been possible. Ford taught the same economics, history, philosophy, literature, and religion which have established the present code of morals. The Negro's mind has been brought under the control of his oppressor. The problem of holding the Negro down, therefore, is easily solved. When
There
you
you
control
go.
a man's thinking, oh, what's up? What's up? My bad. My bad. When you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. And please, if y'all ain't listen to what I'm about to
Say
say.
that.
Listen to what I'm about to say. You do not have to tell him not to stand here or go yonder. He will find his proper place and will stay in it. You do not have to send him to the back door. He will go without being told. In fact, there is no back door. Oh, if there is no back door, he will cut one for his special benefit. His education makes it necessary.
So, what does that tell you? Like, how does that make you think about the public school system or even colleges? Like, you gotta put that in context.
Okay, right here, if I'm going back to when he's talking about there's been no systematic effort to change, right? We again, he says we've been taught the same economics, same history, same philosophy, literature, and religion, but somehow we still in this predicament that we're in, and it for us it teaches us to be docile. Like for us, like when we look at history here again, 1619 project versus 1776 project. 1776 is always going to keep your history starting at you being a slave. So in your mind right there already, you sit in there looking like I know me personally, and y'all can correct me if you're wrong, if I'm wrong, because everybody has different experiences. But for me personally, I know when I was in school and I found out about the Civil War, bruh, I was like, oh, so they freed us. You know, like that was my first part of history that had to do with anything black. And the crazy thing about that is that right after we read about the Civil War, again talking about, for example, the philosophy and ethics resulting from our education system has justified slavery, peonage, segregation, and lynching. It justifies that in their minds. So, for example, we went out to recess right afterwards, and these kids sat there and said, "Yo, let's play Civil War." And so many of them were like, "Yo, I'm the Confederates. I'm the Confederates." They're like, "Yeah, yeah, we're the rebels." And I was sitting there like, "Whoa, whoa." Bro, I
That's
went
what
to the
side I want to
swings.
choose.
Yeah, I went to the swings with the girls, bro. I was like, I ain't no way I'm about to play no Civil War, which we just learned that y'all was fighting to keep me right there. Let me not cuss. Y'all lost y'all
Yeah.
minds. Y'all think so. Right then and there, I knew for the rest of my life who I was dealing with in the county I grew up in. Like, ain't no way you learn about the Civil War, and the thing you get out of it is, oh, let's go play Civil War, and I want to be the Confederates. So that kind of shows the type of indoctrination that was going on during when I was in school, like at my school. Because to me, I learned the same history, same economics, same philosophy, but that's not what interpreted in my mind. So like right there, again, it had me sitting there thinking like, dang, like I'm around
That's a
all these
prime
other,
example.
yeah, I
Yep.
was screwed. I was screwed, you know, like so for me, when you look at this other quote when it said, when you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. Now, I put that in the context of politics. Most people think you can only go Democrat and Republican, but that's not real. It's being set up for you to think it that way, but it's not real. There's so many different other ways to handle these political situations, and so many people think, oh, I just gotta vote for the lesser of the two evils. You know, like let me go pick which plantation I want to work with. Like let me go make my back door in here, even though they're not letting me in the front door. And if y'all actually watched One Night in Miami, then you saw when that white man in the beginning was talking to Jim Brown, and Jim Brown's offering, "Yo, can I come help? You know, I want to help you move your furniture." And the white man's like, "Nah, man, you know we don't let niggas in the house." like that's what I was dealing with in high school, and that's what we dealing with now. You know, like that's what we basically getting told by Joe Biden and them. You know, especially, and I know people have short term memories, and I'm going on a tangent, so I'm gonna stop real quick, but when he got that meeting that got leaked with the International Black Caucus, peep his tone. That was real. He was being real right there. He was literally telling the Black Caucus, like, look, I'm in office now. Like, thank you, but I'm in office now. And there's going to be more Hispanics pulling up, and you will have to contend with them, not just me, not just the white people. We're going to be the minority. He's sitting there saying it. Go look it up if you haven't, because people need to actually peep this. And for those that think like, oh, you know, he's doing great things. He just now signed in the private prison. No more private prison. Like, that does not mean the government don't have prisons.
And he also just declined to up the
The
minimum wage. So like,
right, like
what's really up?
keep your eyes open, because again, you're gonna have to find that back door if you're trying to play into that plantation. You don't need that plantation. You got a whole kingdom across the seas, but that's another conversation. That's another conversation. But okay, right here, right here. The same educational process which inspires and stimulates the oppressor with the thought that he is everything and has accomplished everything worthwhile, depresses and crushes at the same time the spark of genius in the Negro by making him feel that his race does not amount to much and never will measure up to the standards of other people. The Negro, thus educated, is hopeless, is a hopeless liability of the race. And I gotta pause right there one more
Pause
time.
right there.
I got Paul, bro, because now I'm getting my emotions right here, dog. I'm telling you, Carter G be spitting, bro. Because again, right here, he telling you this stimulates and inspires the oppressor. Again, look at Black History Month. Where does it normally start at? Oh, this was the black first. This was the first black president. This was the first black person in the MLB. This was the first black. These are the first people on the plantation to do something. That's what they're telling you. It's the first people that they want to celebrate. They basically telling you like, yo, this person had to fight to get here, but we let them. So like, we're celebrating us. Really, in reality, we're celebrating the fact that we were like, oh, come on, Jackie Robinson, come on. Don't y'all know that Hank Aaron had death threats at him when he was about to sit there and beat Babe Ruth? Like, it's not like they loved them back then. We all know MLK was not loved back then. He was barely loved by us. He was barely loved by us. Look at the numbers. Quit falling for this Black history mess that got co-opted. Like, in this book, you're gonna sit here and hear him actually speak some real stuff. And you're gonna look at Black history in a total different way afterwards. Because he's saying, because he's telling you like it got co-opted. Black History Month got co-opted. And now it's something totally different. But my bad, I'm tripping.
No. That's a big part of the conversation though, is because Black History Month, what information do they allow us access to? Who do they show us in Black History Month? Because like it's saying here, the education doesn't include like who we really are. Black History Month starts when we got into America, but we have a long history before that we're not aware of. And shoot, I gotta let y'all know that Black people, we are kings and queens. We are emperors and empresses. We are gods and goddesses, but they won't tell that story for us. We got to tell that story for us. So they're going to tell you about the first this and that in Black history, but they ain't going to tell you nothing like this. The Nile Valley contributions to civilization, that they built their civilization based off of us. Everything that they know is based off of us. They're not going to tell y'all that. So that's why we got to spread that message to one another.
Exactly. I don't know if the people hopping off got the time, but they need to hear it. It ain't been nothing but Black folks hop up on this thing. So I need y'all to be feeling this for real, because I'm kind of getting tired of the coon activity, dog. I'm getting tired. We too young with too much energy to end up 70 and still talk about no justice, no peace.
Exactly. And we taking that charge and we expanding that conversation. We not limited to our experience here. The things here they have been important to us, but we way more than that.
Exactly. What's up, my brother right there?
Okay, what's happening?
He gonna fuck with it too. Again, for the ones just now hopping in, we reading the Mis-Education of the Negro. Probably gonna chop it up with y'all for about another
15.
We definitely gonna finish this, and if I don't go on another tangent, we can finish the first chapter too.
Blessings, brother.
Blessings always. Ashe. So the difficulty is that the educated Negro is compelled to live and move among his people whom he has been taught to despise. As a rule, therefore, the educated Negro prefers to buy his food from a white grocer because he has been taught that the Negro is not clean. It does not matter how often a Negro washes his hands. then he cannot clean them. And it does not matter how often a white man uses his hands, he cannot soil them. The educated Negro, moreover, is disinclined to take part in Negro business because he has been taught in economics that Negroes cannot operate in this particular sphere. The educated Negro has, oh my bad, the educated Negro gets less and less pleasure out of the Negro church, not on account of its primitiveness and increasing corruption, but because of his preference for the seats of righteousness, controlled by his oppressor. Then, I mean, my bad, dang, I'm messing up. This has been his education, and nothing else can be expected of him.
You know, well, hold on.
I
Yeah,
got you.
I want to speak to some of that.
Definitely do.
The difficulty of the educated, the quote unquote educated Negro is,
oh, we see that still.
Yeah, and you know, he doesn't want to live amongst his own people. So we see that now. People go get education, they get a little money, and then they want to go move to a white neighborhood, or they wanted to go do the things that rich white people do, or you want to get their clothes and their cars, or do they certain type of things, and you just leave all the people that was in the same situation as you in the past.
Exactly. So the thing is, you can rebuild. Like people, again, if you really look at what Nipsey Hussle was doing, and please, if y'all watching, please do not get caught up in black capitalism. I don't have time right now to
say that.
But at another time, please, I promise, if y'all know me, y'all know I got love for y'all, bro. Like I would not tell you no lie. Do not get caught up in black capitalism. That is short term. And any of y'all religious people know, y'all know God's timing is the best timing, and that ain't no quick timing. So please, like, think long term. Don't go for no quick money, like, cause you exploiting your own people. So, but when he talked about the educated Negro, he's gonna despise his own people. I see that all the time, especially with our movements. You know, you could easily go this summer and see people out there marching and whatnot. Everybody marches. Everybody always pulls up to march. But what happens afterwards? Y'all ain't pulling up with the brother that had on the tank top that was riding in the car in the streets or something like that. It's like selling his water out there. Y'all ain't cooling with them anymore. Like, y'all not sitting there. Like, for instance, you can go to UGA now, and out of all the parties we ever had, I can always hear somebody say, "Yo, is the locals gonna be pulling up?" Yo, right. Like, yo, it'd be too many locals in there. Or bliss this and this, and they don't call them locals. It should be residents of Athens. For first off, they're people, but it seemed like the educated Negroes don't want to hang out with the other Negroes. But that, and again, that's why the talented 10th thing with the boys, he later came back and retracted that statement. He was like, I was wrong. Like, talented 10th does not work. You know, like you end up despising your own people, and you're never gonna have liberation. You're never gonna reach sovereignty despising your own people. So yeah, last paragraph.
And you know, I don't know what quote it is. Just to that same point, I'm pretty sure it was Stokely Carmichael, but he was talking about how, like, you know, the people that they would call lokes, like, those are the people that really got the rebellious spirit. Exactly. Like the real spirit to, like, you know, do something and to change something. And the educated Negroes is complacent. Scared. They got their money. We good. We got our white picket fence. You know what I'm saying? I got my little car. I got my V-Lone hoodie. Like, I'm good, man. Like,
I ain't going out there. Them Negroes crazy. That's what they say. Like, I ain't about to go out there. Shoot. Man, that's the crazy part. But we deal with the same. We always say we not a monolith. Understandable. But you are oppressed as a monolith. So how you not going to link up with your homies? You know, how you not going to try to help them out? You know, so, and not with a paternalistic attitude, because you help one another. But yeah, if the educated Negro could go off and be white, he might be happy. But only a mulatto now and then can do this. The large majority of this class then must go through life denouncing white people because they are trying to run away from the blacks and decrying the blacks because they are not white.
So now you stuck in the middle. Now you don't really got nowhere to go. Exactly. You don't denounce your family trying to be a white person, and now the whites won't accept you. So what you gonna do now?
I promise you that black capitalism gonna set you up. It's gonna set you up, and you're gonna feel like you being successful, but you really exploiting your brother. You really
your dark skin is beautiful, brother.
Yes, sir. Oh man. All right. So what you think? What you think? It's only 4 pair. It's only four. That's why this book is really short. To be honest, it's only 100 pages. So if y'all haven't checked it out before, please do. The next chapter is really only what 4 or 5 pages. You want to check it out?
I feel like if we do this, we're gonna have
Y'all
to
hop off.
we might
My
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
My bad. I forgot you got something to go to. Yeah, we can stop right here. My bad. My bad.
You
Apologies
stop
on
right
that.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Should this work?
understand the fall of thieves
Um,
to diagnose that. We're
he
gonna have to
said,
expand on that.
yeah, please do. Please do. For the
So,
last like 8 minutes. For the last 8 minutes. If you got the time, chop it up with us. If you actually like this content though, and actually having us do lives and just read right here, and yo, go ahead and like this thing a little bit more. Like
either that, yeah, show the love, but if you think we should keep
yeah,
going,
just give us confirmation that we didn't just waste our time on this thing.
disconnected.
Nah, we can still hear you. I can still hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Word.
No,
But
we
yeah,
ain't
man. So
like
maybe we could just for people that have just joined, once again we were reading The Mis-Education of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. He is the father of Black History Month, so it's only right that we read his work and really see what he had to say about our status here in the United States and our education. So,
oh, hey, bro, we actually about to okay. We actually about to read The Destruction of Black Civilization. And I know it talks about that in there, that mulatto class. So even though we don't use that word anymore, but yeah, he said I really
so
appreciate that read. Appreciate you.
of course. What up, Mike? What up, Don? What up, T Matt? What's up? Good to see y'all in here. We just trying to
Information be
educate
crazy.
people, man. We trying to spread the knowledge, spread the wealth.
Exactly, bro. I had my students reading that chapter, and that was their first time actually like learning the word mulatto. Like, and actually when he talks about how like, but we gonna get into it. We gonna get into it.
Yeah. So
Please keep
me
in.
and Zach run a book club for y'all that didn't know. It's called Unlocked. And for this month, we're gonna start reading The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. And they really go from the inceptions of Egypt and how Egypt was created, who were the people that were in Egypt, and how did Egypt fall, and how great was Egypt. It tells that whole story. So starting February 7th, we're gonna start reading that book together. So if y'all are interested, go check out our page at Unlocked TBC on Instagram. You can also find us on YouTube too. If you go to our Instagram page and hit our link, you can find everything there. You can find the club registration form. We'll be sending out an email with the book in PDF form for y'all, so y'all don't need to go buy it. And we're gonna start off reading the introduction on live to get, to just gauge interest. But we'll do a Zoom session on Sunday. So if y'all are interested in that, definitely hit us up, slide in our DMs. We'll build with y'all.
Also, please, like, remember, Black liberation through education, bro. If that's one of our sayings, and we're trying to put solutions into action. Like there's no reason to read a whole bunch of books and then not be able to put what you read into action, or read a whole entire book and not have a new way of thinking or have something impact you or anything like that. I believe Jalen was raised pretty well, so I agree with that.
I need to hear that, man. I need some.
But yeah, so if y'all are tapping in with us, please keep in mind that we're not just reading. Like, this is for us to continue progressing. Like, whatever's next, we trying to do it together. Like, we in circles where we actually are with people that's actually out here trying to do things for real. But the thing is, you realize after a while, you need more people. Like, you can start like Jesus and you can start small, but it eventually, like, it has to get bigger. So it can't just be a few pockets of people trying to really make change out here. So if you're in here right now, know that you're a game changer with us.
And
that's pretty much it.
Zach, actually, I think I might have some more time. I just got a message saying that my other club reading might be canceled. So let's keep going, man. If people, I got some time, yeah.
All right, y'all cool? I got at least 30 more minutes, at the least. Y'all cool with that? If so.
Oh yeah, yeah. They showing love. Let's get it.
They ain't he said a word. All right, bet. All right, you want to start off chapter 1, or you want me to get this one and then?
No, I can start it off.
All right,
sound good. All right, so The Mis-Education of the Negro, chapter 1, The Seat of the Trouble. The quote-unquote educated Negroes have the attitude of contempt towards their own people because in their own, as well as in their mixed schools, Negroes are taught to admire the Hebrew, the Greek, the Latin, and to despise the African. Of hundreds of Negro high schools recently examined by an expert in the United States Bureau of Education, only 18 offer a course taking up the history of the Negro. In most of the Negro colleges and universities where the Negro is thought of, the race is studied only as a problem or dismissed as of little consequence. For example, an officer of a Negro university, thinking that it is an additional course on the Negro, should be given there a doctor of philosophy of the faculty to offer such work. He promptly informed the officer that he knew nothing about the Negro. He did not go to school to waste his time that way. He went to be educated in the system which dismisses the Negro as a non-entity. So just right there, he talks about how the focus is Hebrew, Greek, Latin. If you knew truth, you would know that that thought is based, has this inception in Africanness. There's a book that y'all can get called Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James that will break that down for you. Yeah, I got it right behind me too.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab that real quick.
For sure. But it just talks about the lies that are told. So, they're taught to honor these people, but you really got to look in and see, like, well, dang, where did these people get these ideas from? Where did they start building this their foundation from? And you'll find that it was largely Kemet. They went to Kemet or Egypt to get their foundation for pretty much everything they got in life.
Exactly. I think if y'all ever get the chance, intellectual warfare also breaks that down really well too. Like I'll praise that. I'll praise that book till I die. Jacob Carruthers, he's a GOAT.
Yeah.
He's a GOAT.
Yeah. And we what we're gonna do for y'all is we're gonna break down a lot of those concepts in that book, and we're gonna break it down to a lecture so we can really give y'all an understanding as well of how much of an intellectual battle there is and how much lies there really are told and how they're used against us.
Yeah, if y'all interested in that, please check it out. Ethiopian empire was so vast that it encompassed Greece and like true.
Right. People don't really have a perception of that.
Again, also one more side note to that though. In public school here in Georgia, as a main course, you can pick any Western history as an actual credited class that will be counted towards your main history. But African is an elective. If it's something else, it's an elective. It only wants you to have, like, you don't get that full credit towards your actual history requirements if you choose African history.
At UGA, me and Zach both graduated from the University of Georgia. I think they're just now adding an African studies major. Am I correct?
Yeah. Man, I was mad. Cause I was like,
yeah, an elective.
Hey, I would have took
African history is world history. Let's say that again. African history is world history. Right. You know what I'm saying? But it's an elective. It's BS.
All right, so
I'm gonna keep reading.
Okay.
At a Negro summer school 2 years ago, a white instructor gave a course on the Negro, using for his text a work which teaches that whites are superior to the blacks. When asked by one of the students why he used such a textbook, the instructor replied that he wanted them to get that point of view. Even schools for Negroes then are places where they must be convinced of their inferiority. The thought of the inferiority of the Negro is drilled into him in almost every class he enters and almost every book he studies. If he happens to leave school after he masters the fundamentals before he finishes high school or reaches college, he will naturally escape some of the bias and may recover in time to be of some service to his people. Damn.
Hey, there's another person out there. I forgot who it was. It might be Ray Hagan's. It was like I was going to binge watch for a minute, so I can't remember who else it was. But they was talking about, it might have been Amos Wilson actually, and it's talking about like people be so proud to go to Harvard and everything, but if you look at the history of Harvard, like read Stamp from the beginning. Read Stamp. You can read the young adults version if you don't want to read that thicker version. Stamp from the beginning, but he even tells you like Harvard was financed by Puritans, so it was already set up for you to be indoctrinated towards a Puritan type of thinking. So and I think whoever it was, I'm sorry if I can't give full credit to Amos or Ray Hagans, but they were talking about how like you may be so happy to go to Harvard, but you really getting indoctrinated to do more for the white economy. You're gonna be indoctrinated to actually help out the oppression of your people. So it's like if you're not centered in your thought of who you are, who your people are, you know, it was centered within your African and centered within like who exactly is on your team, who's on your real team, then you might end up sitting there just working for IBM and making them make more money while killing your people. So it's
and
like
killing yourself. Let's talk about that. Let's not leave that out there.
mentally. Yeah.
What you working for? I just want to reset. I'm about to say reset the room. I just want to just for everybody in here, we are reading The Mis-Education of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson, the father of Black History Month. So we get into his work.
Oh, but they don't want us to know about that, bro. They don't want us to know about those innovations that we have. Again, and I'm gonna grab another book real.
Okay. Yeah.
Again, if y'all haven't seen me post it before, but again, Amos Wilson's Awakening the Natural Genius of Black Children. Now, there's a famous test. You can look it up. Like it's not like we making stuff up. These are actual people out here doing this work. Marcel Geber, he was comparing the intellect and the psychomotor development skills of students or young children in the U.S. and Western societies, Asia, and then they was like, all right, let's pull up in Africa and let's see what's up. Turns out these were actually the most, is it precocious? Is that the word I'm looking for? My bad, that's not the word I'm looking for.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Damn, my bad. Look at me messing up my vocab. But basically, these were the most developed psychologically and with their motor skills together. Like these kids in Africa already were tapping into their natural genius, and they were all shocked. They were all shocked, and then they tested the Black kids here in the States. Turns out we still like it was slightly less than, but we still were more developed psychomotor with our psychomotor skills than any other ethnicity or race. Now there are other factors that come involved, and he does touch on it in the book as well, going later on, where it's like depending on the environment of the mother, and how she's taking care of that child prenatal and everything. Like how again, if you actually really peep what's been going on with our families and whatnot, it's making it even harder for us to tap into that natural genius because our families are being put in environments that are already setting it up for us to be hard for it to be hard for us. So
right. And then we go into the school system.
Exactly. And he said by third grade, that's usually when like that genius might be gone. And again, you can look this up too. I am an educator, so I got these facts. The prisons look at your third grade reading scores, and this is what used to make me cry when I taught in public school for third graders. It would make me cry because I sat there and actually I knew that if my students were not on reading level, then that's another bed in prison. The prisons actually count or check out the statistics of these reading levels to see like how many prison beds do we need to have. Look that up. It's factual.
That role you was playing was so important, bro.
I appreciate that, but we all got a role out here though. That's the point of all this though. Just realizing that it's not just us actually in the schools because there's only so much we can do. You got the Kendesi book right there. like people know like whoever your child is around, whatever the environment they're around, it always needs to be something that's productive. Always needs to be something productive. Don't have like and again everybody I'm going on a tangent, but just because I'm actually passionate about our youth. You need to not have them sitting there watching an iPad all day long. That doesn't help their psychomotor skills like that. You can't sit there and just give them the TV and say like sit there and watch just because it helps you have a better day. Like you having a better day should be helping their child have a better day, and actually improve or helping them with their skills and giving them something else to think about. Like dive into what like you may catch what their passion is when they're young, and just keep on give them something to dive down that rabbit hole. Because again, like he's trying to get you to be an autodidact. They knew this in 1933 that it's the best way you get your education is learning it yourself. Like I could be up here preaching all day long, but ain't nobody gonna actually. Hang on, let me see if I can pin that. Can I
Yeah,
pin
pin
that?
that comment.
Bet. Let me see. Like again, we can preach all day long, but how much did you really get from a lot of your teachers? A lot of how good you were as a student depended on how bad or how great you could regurgitate what they were just telling you in the front of you. So yeah, man, let's get back to this, man. I'm just going on a little tangent, bro. But please though, look up those stats. Look up the Geber test. Marcel Geber is Geber. I mean, my bad. The Giselle test. Marcel Geber is the one that did it. The Giselle test. Look it up. You can look up the prison beds for third grade reading scores. That's all you gotta look up. Like look these things up. Look up how to actually develop these youths, because right now I hate seeing kids on their phones, bro. I really hate it. It doesn't help us at all. So yeah. My bad.
No, you good. Okay, so practically all of the successful Negroes in this country are of the uneducated type, or of that of Negroes who have had no formal education at all. The large majority of the Negroes who have put on the finishing touches of our best colleges are all but worthless in the development of their people. If after leaving school they have the opportunity to give out to Negroes what traducers of the race would like to have it learned, such persons may thereby earn a living at teaching or preaching what they have been taught, but they never become a constructive force in the development of the race. The so-called school then becomes a questionable factor in the life of this despised people. As another has well said, to handicap a student by teaching him that his black face is a curse and that his struggle to change his condition is hopeless is the worst sort of lynching. It kills one's aspiration and dooms him to the vagabondage and crime. It is strange then that the friends of truth and the promoters of freedom have not risen up against the present propaganda in the schools and crushed it. This crusade is much more important than the anti-lynching movement, because there would be no lynching if it did not start in the classroom. There would be no lynching if it did not start in the classroom. Why not exploit, enslave, or exterminate a class that everyone is taught to regard as inferior? To be more explicit, we may go to the seat of the trouble. Our most widely known scholars have been trained in universities outside of the South. Northern and Western institutions, however, have had no time to deal with matters which concern the Negro especially. They must direct their attention to the problems of the majority of their constituents, and too often they have stimulated their prejudices by referring to the Negro as unworthy of consideration. Most of what these universities have offered as language, mathematics, and science may have served a good purpose, but much of what they have taught as economics, history, literature, religion, and philosophy is propaganda and cant that involved a waste of time and misdirected the Negroes thus trained. His language is different, but
It very much is. But
yeah,
he's still
I grabbed
spitting.
some books just to show y'all. So he's talking about how like the information they're giving you about religion and philosophy is propaganda. If you want to learn about that, check out some of these books I'm about to show y'all. Y'all can screenshot these and then look them up on your own time or whatever. But one right here, we said this earlier, Stolen Legacy, George G.M. James. Another one, Christianity Before Christ, John G. Jackson. Africa, Mother of Western Civilization, Dr. Ben Yosef Yakinen.
The GOAT.
Another one by the same author, African Origins of the Major Western Religions. And these are all written by scholars. They all have sources. They're all factual. And if you want to get into some of this information, these are some of the scholars and some of the books that you should look into.
One more though.
Give one more.
Yeah. Like Dr. True said, he said, if you take, and I know y'all noticed this, y'all had to notice this. We don't really have a lot of scholars that get put on the forefront when it comes down to these debates anymore, right? Dr. True was like, look, Dr. Ben told me, anytime you take any of our work to them, they're going to discredit it. And they're not going to take it serious. He was like, look, go out there and get the white folks books that prove it to you. Like,
Right.
go out there and get this Gerald Massey, the natural Genesis. Go out there and get Primordial Man. Get their books. And this was written in a time when black folks were not supposed to be reading. So who exactly were they talking to? Mm-hmm. So and intellectual warfare dives into that again. It wasn't up in, like, if you look at Plato, Socrates, Tacitus, look at their ancient thinkers. Who are they praising? It's us. It's us. like look at it. Quit looking at Plato just for what they tell you. That means written works that sits there and praises Kemet. Yeah. So and again, like just as well, I need y'all to actually understand, like, Kemet is not everything, but Kemet is where we had the first writers. Kemet is where you had like the first an empire like this. Like, say that, my bad.
I was just gonna say you had the first aspects of what we would regard as civilization.
Right.
Has this inception in Kemet. And for people that don't know what Kemet is the word that which you would associate as the Egyptians called, their city in themselves. Well, they call Egypt Kemet, and they were Kemetic. So it's just we're using that word to honor the true essence of Kemet, of Egypt.
Right. But please keep in mind, though, that West Africa, South Africa also had society, civilizations, and everything as well. It's just, again, you look at history, historically things were orally given. We had oral stories passed down. So that's why Kemet is so important, because that's when you could actually first write something. Like, first write something. And again, just like with Christianity, you wouldn't know Christianity if there was no Bible. If there wasn't something written about it, you would not be practicing it. So that's why it's important that's why Kemet is actually important. But it's also important to actually dive into the other parts of Africa as well, because there's a lot of information there that we need to tap back into.
Right.
Answers were there. We just not looking for them anymore.
I was gonna just give people a understanding that we're reading Mis-Education of the Negro. If y'all want to tap in with us on a different level and continue reading with us, you can hit our DMs, and we actually have a book club that we love to tell y'all about and invite y'all into.
All right, so we got like 2 more pages.
Okay, I'll finish this page off,
and
then you can take up.
Okay.
And even in the certitude of science or mathematics, it has been unfortunate that approach to the Negro has been borrowed from a foreign method. For example, the teaching of arithmetic in 5th grade in a backward county in Mississippi should mean one thing in the Negro school and a decidedly different thing in the white school. The Negro children, as a rule, come from the homes of tenants and peons who have to migrate annually from the plantation to plantation looking for the light which they have never seen. The children come from homes of white planters and merchants, live permanently in the midst of the calculations, family budgets, and the like, which enable them sometimes to learn more by contact than the Negro can acquire in school. Instead of teaching such Negro children less arithmetic, they taught much more of it than the white children, for the latter attend a graded school, consolidated, go to one-room rented hovels to be taught without equipment and by incompetent teachers educated scarcely beyond the 3rd grade. So I'll let you pick up.
Okay. In schools of theology, Negroes are taught the interpretation of the Bible worked out by those who have justified segregation and winked at the economic debasement of the Negro, sometimes almost to the point of starvation. Deriving their sense of right from this teaching, graduates of such schools can have no message to grip the people whom they have been ill-trained to serve. Most of such miseducated ministers therefore preach to the benches, while illiterate Negro preachers do the best they can in supplying the spiritual needs of the masses. In the schools of business administration, Negroes are trained exclusively in the psychology and economics of Wall Street and are therefore made to despise the opportunities to run ice wagons, push banana carts, and sell peanuts among their own people. Foreigners who have not studied economics but have studied Negroes take up this business and grow rich. That's funny. See, again, he's talking about something we still talk about. How many people have y'all seen that always want to talk about the Hispanics coming in, always want to talk about the Asians coming in, they always want to talk about everybody else coming into our communities. This is 1933, dog. This book was written in 1933, and we still talk about the same things. In schools of journalism, Negroes are being taught how to edit such metropolitan dailies as the Chicago Tribune and the New York Times, which would hardly hire a Negro as a janitor. And when these graduates come to the Negro weeklies for employment, they are not prepared to function in such establishments, which, to be successful, must be built upon accurate knowledge of the psychology and philosophy of the Negro. So, like, that again goes to people that, those people that, again, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. You look like me, but you psychologically not me anymore. So you can't actually function in my environment, and you want to call everybody niggas. You want to say, I can't hang around, I can't work with niggas, I can't do this. That's your people. Cut that out. You like, I hate when people sit there and want to say, like, I hate working with niggas, I can't work with niggas, this, and this. Like, he's actually talking about this right here. That's you he's talking about. So when a Negro has finished his education in our schools, then he has been equipped to begin the life of an Americanized or Europeanized white man. But before he steps from the threshold of his alma mater, he is told by his teachers that he must go back to his own people, from whom he has been estranged by a vision of ideals, which in his disillusionment, he will realize that he cannot attain. He goes forth to play his part in life, but he must be both social and bisocial at the same time. While he is a part of the body politic, that speaks to how we be code switching. While he is part of the body politic, he is in addition to this a member of a particular race to which he must restrict himself in all matters social. While serving his country, he must serve within a special group. While being a good American, he must above all things be a good Negro. And to perform this definite function, he must learn to stay in a Negro's place. For the arduous task of serving a race thus handicapped, however, the Negro graduate has had little or no training at all. The people whom he has been ordered to serve have been belittled by his teachers to the extent that he can hardly find delight in undertaking what his education has led him to think is possible. Considering his race as blank in achievement, then again, remember we talked about how Black History Month, it starts off with slavery. So I actually know somebody who legit thought we start at slavery. So again, considering his race as blank in achievement, then he sets out to stimulate their imitation of others. The performance is kept up a while, but like any other effort at meaningless imitation, it results in failure. Facing this undesirable result, the highly educated Negro often grows sour. He becomes too pessimistic to be a constructive force and usually develops into a chronic fault finder or a complainant at the bar of public opinion. Often, and again, like this, how many people can y'all say that they look at us and see that it sounds like we just complaining? Like he's talking about it right here. So often, when he sees that the fault lies at the door of the white oppressor whom he is afraid to attack, he turns upon the pioneering Negro who is at work doing the best he can to extricate himself from an uncomfortable predicament. In this effort to imitate, however, these educated people are sincere. They hope to make the Negro conform quickly to the standard of the whites and thus remove the pretext for the barriers between the races. They do not realize, however, that even if the Negroes do successfully imitate the whites, nothing new has thereby been accomplished. You simply have a larger number of persons doing what others have been doing. The unusual gifts of the race have not thereby been deployed. Not bad. have not thereby been developed, and an unwilling world therefore continues to wonder what the Negro is good for.
So
These
I think we
educated,
should let's talk about that right there.
and that, all right, bet.
Yeah, most definitely. Like where he says that nothing new has been accomplished. So like you were
Mhm.
saying earlier, if you're a black capitalist, you're just gonna exploit other people, man. Like,
Exactly. You don't think they've tried that before?
yeah,
You don't think we've had that before? Read The Color of Money.
facts. But by 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 doing what you're told to do and what you're supposed to do based on these European standards and Western thought, you're not really helping your people, bro. You just fall in line with them. You stuck in
Exactly.
this American dream, which you got to get out of. Um, and then the part where it says the unusual gifts of the race have not thereby been developed. It's like we have something unique, but if we caught in their mindset, how are we gonna tap into what we have? You know what I'm saying?
We are unique.
Facts. Facts. And really those unusual gifts are what's really gonna take us out of our predicament by harnessing those unusual gifts. So I found that part powerful.
It is. Like we have a whole unique, beautiful culture that has a lot of answers to the predicaments that we're dealing with. But again, if you're trying to be white, then how is that ever going to happen? And if anybody ever needs to have deeper thought into what we're talking about with this American dream and how that basically just means to be white, read the book Between the World and Me.
Yes, and if you don't want to read, we actually have a couple videos on our YouTube channel where we break down the content of Between the World and Me. If you go on Instagram and you hit Unlocked TBC and go, that's the name of the IG page. You can go in the bio and you can find our YouTube channel. And from there, we have about 2 or 3 videos where we break down that content and have discussions around it. So I would highly recommend checking that out.
Again, we doing this because we love y'all, and
Yeah.
only way we can get out of this is having dialogue with one another.
And for us growing and working together, that's what it takes.
Exactly. You ready for the last bit?
Yeah.
All right. These educated people, however, decry any such thing as race consciousness, and in some respects, they are right. They do not like to hear such expressions as Negro literature, Negro poetry, African art, or thinking black. And roughly speaking, we must concede that such things do not exist. Again, 1619 Project, 1776 Project. These things did not figure in the courses which they pursued in school. And why should they? Aren't we all Americans? Then whatever is American is as much the heritage of the Negro as any other group in this country. Is that true? I don't think so, but what is like why would we need our own month if that was true? We just a sub story to their story. Like that's how it's always said.
Facts.
The highly educated contend, moreover, that when the Negro emphasizes these things, he invites racial discrimination by recognizing such differentness of the races. I've definitely heard that recently, where it'd be like, "Why are you always talking about race? Like, you just putting it on the forefront of people's minds and everything." Like, I've had a friend from college. They're like, "I don't like to think of. I just like to think of spirituality. I just like to think."
But race, unfortunately, Europeans make a reality. You see
Right.
what I'm saying?
You
So
don't have to
we
play into it
can't.
the way they do, though. But
Yeah, exactly. But that colorblind rhetoric is just destructive. It's really just ignoring the problem. That's kind of what I was alluding to.
yeah, that don't mean it's gonna go away. You can close your eyes, but the sun's still gonna rise tomorrow.
Facts.
So the thought that the Negro is one thing and the white man another is the stock in trade argument of the Caucasian to justify segregation. Why, then, should the Negro blame the white man for doing what he himself does? These highly educated Negroes, however, fail to see that it is not the Negro who takes this position. The white man forces him to it. And to extricate himself therefrom, the Negro leader must so deal with the situation as to develop in the segregated group the power with which they can elevate themselves. Again, he said, develop in the segregated group the power with which they can elevate themselves. You cannot ask for liberation. You cannot ask somebody else to give you power. You cannot you cannot vote for power. We see the same things. How old are y'all going to be to see the same things over and over again and realize it don't work? You build power within your community, with your people, with brothers that we was talking about earlier, brothers and sisters that may not look like you, may not be educated like you, but still deal with that same struggle.
And we see this throughout history, that even through slavery, that the slave master didn't just find the graciousness in his heart to let all his slaves free.
No.
Neither did Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln did it as a political move. He had political motivation for himself. He didn't do it for black people, but we call him the liberator.
The paper.
Did he really ever even liberate us? Those are the questions we need to begin asking ourselves.
He was trying to send us to Haiti. like read Prophet of Freedom. It's about,
and look up the American Colonization Society, the ACS. There was an objective of whites, some blacks, but mostly whites, that after emancipation, they were like, what are we about to do with all these Negroes? This is a problem. And they wanted to recolonize us. Colonization is taking one thing, whether it be goods or people, and taking them somewhere else. So they wanted to recolonize free blacks in America to another country. So what was their real motives? It wasn't for our best interest.
Exactly. Another fact, Dr. Carr on Professor Hunter's show, shout out to him, shout out to ASCAC, the group, the Association for the Study of Classical African Civilization. Check out, damn, I'm messing up my camera here, you know what I'm saying? But so he told a story of how George Washington, everybody wants to bring up, George Washington wrote in his will to free the slaves. Key words though, George Washington, Dr. Carr said George Washington wrote in his will to free his slaves. His wife had a lot of slaves. His wife had a lot of let me take that back. Don't forget what I just now said. All y'all forget that. His wife had a lot of captives. I'm still getting that indoctrination.
Enslaved Africans.
Yeah. He had Africans and captive on that plantation. Now, his wife had a lot. And the thing is, somebody in the house, again, we always like to talk bad about the house Negroes, supposedly, but somebody in the house found out and was like, came out there to everybody else, was like, look, in Washington's will, it says we free. when upon my wife's death, we free. So then they started plotting like, we can just kill her tonight. And she got so scared. She got so scared. And look this up. She got so scared. She was like, shoot, let me go to the courthouse now, man. Y'all get y'all ass out of here. Like think about that. There's no way nobody gives you freedom. Nobody gives you liberation. Nobody gives you sovereignty. Nobody gives you power. You only can do it yourself. You got to start looking at this red and blue and being so divisive, falling into that trap, as Neely Fuller Jr. and Francis Cress Wilson would call it, the confusion. Could fall in that. Like, we talk about the same thing 40, 50, 70 years. But those are two pieces of evidence right there historically that just show it doesn't happen by them just giving it. You can't vote for it. That's an illusion. This is the last part. So this would be the end of chapter 1. So if y'all with us, been sticking with us, then y'all have read the full intro, preface, first chapter of the Mis-Education of the Negro with us. Again, just restating for those that haven't been in here, this is the father of Black History Month. But he tells you in his book, this Black History Month that we have now is not what he wanted it to be. This is not what he wanted it to be. So don't fall for the first this, first that, MLK was this and that. They don't even mention John Henrik Clark. They don't mention Dr.
Yeah, I know. We the first people. That's what we are.
Exactly. They don't mention that. I'll tell you that. They don't mention who else is there? John G. Jackson. They don't mention Bookman's prayer. They don't mention David Walker's appeal to black people, to Africans. You're talking about the whole diaspora. They don't mention these things because in their writings, again, just like in this writing, they're gonna tell you what's real.
And they're gonna give you the information to keep you where you are doing what they want you to do. And they're gonna indoctrinate you to the point where they don't even gotta worry about it no more. You just gonna follow the orders. You a bot. You a pawn.
Exactly. So this is the last paragraph, few sentences. The differentness of races, moreover, is no evidence of superiority or of inferiority. This merely indicates that each race has certain gifts which the others do not possess. It is by the development of these gifts that every race must justify its right to exist. So,
You got
again,
a
you have
question right here.
he said, so what are we doing to make sure that these things are taught? Bro, that's what you part of that, dog. Dang, man, you part of that. We gotta step up and do that, man. Like we can't
Each one teach one, man.
exactly. Iron sharpens iron. That's why I'm in a total different school where 99% of my students look like me.
So
I
Zach
actually get
teaches he teaches at a black Montessori school. So he doing that work every day.
exactly.
Tell him about your
So
Montessori school. Give him a little background.
okay. Actually, right there, that's actually my bro Marcus Prince. Shout out to
He
you.
already know?
What's up, Mark? But yeah, he knows where I'm teaching at.
Okay.
Yeah, he said he teach on standards. Exactly. And that makes it so hard. And that's exactly what he's talking about in here. That's what he's talking about in this book. That's, bro, I know you missed the beginning, but this was a book that inspired me to realize, like, I'm just pushing these kids to prison, basically. I'm just perpetuating the school to prison pipeline system. And there was many times I cried in front of them. Like, I don't know, like, I still remember Juliana crying there with me. I still remember some of them actually laughing at me. They were like, what's he crying for? Until they realized what I was actually crying about. And it's like, I would say we just have to do more reading. We have, like, that's why I push for us to read some more, because ain't nobody going to give it to you. And the ones that do give it to you, sometimes they might have their own agenda and lead you down a black capitalist route. So like you have to do your own, like he said on the back of this, when I read the back before he started, you gotta get into being self-taught, do for yourself. He said, sup bro, but that's what I mean. What are some things that we can do to get this context in our schools? Man, you gonna have to break that curriculum.
We gotta call for them to rewrite the history books, change the curriculums. Man, you know, the
That's why
schools
the
are one.
1619 project is important.
Yeah, but I think the schools are important, but I'm just gonna speak outside the schools because you go to school for a certain point of time, but you know, kids learn a lot at home. So if you have a child, teach them, give them this foundation at home, so when they go to school, they're not lost. They're not soaking in they're not getting colonized in their mind. They already have a foundation to work from.
My
On a
sister
personal
said
level,
something right there. She said, sit on
sit
those
on
school
school
boards.
boards. Word.
You don't even have to be an educator to get in those on them school boards, man. That's the crazy part right there. You do not have to. You end up with a dang. What's her name? Was it DeVos? What's her? Help me out, bro. I know Prince. I know you know who she is. The one that just was over education in the gut. I forgot
Her
her
name
name.
Amy. Amy?
No, not her. The other one. She just left. She was over the education of the entire. I think it was Betsy DeVos. She was over the entire education system here in Georgia, but she'd never been in public school. So she was actually pushing for more privatization of schools and whatnot. So like, I don't necessarily, like, you don't have to, there you go. Appreciate you, bro. Betsy DeVos right there. You don't, if anybody's watching this and you actually want to play a part, go get on them school boards. Like my sister said, please supplement at home. Like, there are actual homeschool curriculums centered around this topic to actually give out material. Like, I actually printed some out myself. Like, I had a whole unit with my lower level students, 1st through 5th grade, that was all about the ancient not ancient, Afrocentric Saturday school program. Hey,
X.
we trying to set that up for real though.
Yeah.
Like no cap, like for real. But
Work.
so please be on the lookout for that. But
Yeah.
I actually had a whole unit on like Kush, the Nubians, Zulu, it's the Songhai Empire, Mali, Ghana, like all the different empires in Africa. And then now we're on because we got to the transatlantic trade, and I didn't want to talk about that before I actually taught them about the indigenous to this land first too, Turtle Island and everything. So right now we're talking about first we're on the Aztecs, Incans, Mayans. So we got that down right now, and we're actually relating the cultures because again, most of our, as Dr. Leonard Jeffries would say, Afrocentric, Asia, Africa, Latin America, indigenous, all of that is under Afrocentricity as far as being communal, collective, and cooperative, valuing life, our ancestors. We are people that like to come together and work together, and our music, you can hear it in our music. Like you can hear life within us together. We like whereas Eurocentric ideology is nothing but death, domination, and destruction. So if y'all haven't heard of Dr. Leonard Jeffries, you should check him out. He's still teaching. And he said Kush was a serious military power of his time. That's facts. That's facts. Um, the thing, I think, what was I reading? They had a backstabber in one of those last dynasties. Because it was one of the pharaohs. It's another. I'm getting off topic. My bad. I can tell
That's
you
gonna
that
be in
another
the.
time.
I bet that's in the destruction, huh? But one thing I just want to say is that
I think I read it in this one.
okay, yeah. But one thing I just want to bring up is that one thing we can do is tell history from a different perspective. You know, in schools we learn history from the perspective of the European, but how much different would history be interpreted by a child if it was told from maybe the perspective of somebody in a maroon society? So if y'all don't know what maroon societies are, they're these little, they were groups of Africans that were originally taken to the West to be enslaved, but got free and started their own civilization. So if you told the story of history from that perspective, that gives the child a completely different understanding.
Exactly. I promise you, my mental as an adult changed from all the reading and getting a different worldview and perspective. So I can only imagine catching a child before they're 10 within that indoctrination period. And again, if you don't trust our teachers, listen to Plato. Plato told, like, he used, again, you don't want to get too deep into it and realize, like, think that you European or
Yeah, you
whatever.
don't want to take that stuff as your own because Carter G. Woodson just told you what will happen if you do that.
Right. Understand where it really came from, and connect the dots. Like we got the books to show you, but Plato in Plato's Republic, he's telling you, like, we gonna change up the whole society, like get rid of everybody older than 10, and set up these classes of people that like he's teaching you how to indoctrinate people in that one. And he talked about propaganda in this book. Like Kwame Ture always talks about how it's important to know your enemy. It's important to, like, if you and I'm gonna keep on talking, hopefully y'all can hear me. So he talks about how it's important that if somebody like Hitler was powerful enough to convince an entire people to go along with the genocide of another group of people, then it's kind of important. You should want to see how to be, like, if you are of Jewish descent, let's say you're Jewish, you believe you're Jewish, you identify as a Jewish person, why would you not want to read Mein Kampf by Hitler? Why would you not? So that you can actually see the signs and make sure that stuff never happens again. He has sections in his whole book about propaganda. He tells you how he set this stuff up. And if people, we learned about propaganda in World War II about Germany, but you're not thinking we not getting hit with it every single day. You get hit with propaganda every single day, and they
Right here on
masters.
our
They
phones.
learn from the master. Yeah, even on Instagram, on Twitter, you
So
learn this propaganda.
I want to propose this question because he talks about highly educated Negroes.
Right.
How would you define what like a highly educated black man? Like what would that be
As
in
far as like
truthful essence?
quotes, air
No,
quotes,
no,
air
no, no.
quotes.
Like truly, like
Oh,
what would
for
a
us.
truly?
Oh,
Yeah,
highly.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
bro. I can only give examples, and
Okay.
I don't even think that they touched where we need to be because they know.
Mm, yeah.
Um, Obviously, El Haj Malik Al Shabazz, formerly known as Malcolm X,
Mm-hmm.
who literally had multiple transitional periods. He was, like Carter G. Woodson saying, he was an autodidact. He learned himself. He taught himself. You have to be that way in education. You have to search for stuff. You can't wait for someone to give it to you. So first, you have to be someone who actually seeks the knowledge because, as they say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So you first somebody would have to have that character trait in them. But moving from that, I would say Neely Fuller Jr. is somebody who he's an incredible thinker. But he himself said in one of his lectures, he was like, "Look, I don't even want my son to be like me because I know the European mindset has got to me. Like we're nowhere near having that highly educated black individual, African individual. Where I don't feel like we're anywhere near that because right now we're still talking about this over almost 100 years from when this book was published.
Yeah.
You could say it's only a combination of people. You can move into like a Kwame Nkrumah. I'll see Marimba Ani as that because she's fully centered in who she is and embraces an Afro worldview. Again, it's for the 7 people on here with us. If y'all don't understand the difference of the worldviews, think of it like this: Ethiopia has a different year. They're in a different year than us. China's in a different year than us. Um, when Kush was thriving and Kemet was thriving, the map was turned upside down. Upper Egypt was what we would call South. So that's a total different worldview in itself, right there, for both two different people still in exist. Well, the Ethiopians and Chinese, like they still have their cultures thriving and their societies thriving, but they all they did was say, "Oh, y'all want to call it 2020? Oh, okay, bet, cool. Like, if y'all want to call it 2020, cool. But we in 2013, like we'll still do business with you. Like, you can't. It's a total different worldview, and capitalism has really killed our worldview here. Capitalism it like KT says, it distorts your whole mental. So
And we've read this book called Intellectual Warfare, and what we're going to do is break down those topics, and that is going to give you guys a better idea of what a worldview is and the two different worldviews that really exist on our planet currently and throughout history. So you have a more Western worldview, and then you have a more indigenous African worldview, and those two things have starkly different aspects to them. So we'll definitely get into that and share that with y'all because that's important, just in understanding and really knowing how you need to live your life and how you need to organize and how you need to move going forward.
exactly.
And really what you up against. That's huge. You
Uh,
got to know what you up against.
a key saying that I love hearing now. Every time I hear it, it just, I felt that like that really shows the stark difference is within the communities that we're in that actually understand being African centered. We all say, "I am because we are
Mm.
Ubuntu." You don't hear that in Western societies. You hear
No.
me, mine. Everybody knows we're individualized. It's like you won't hear "I am because we are" here. You don't have people sitting there thinking like, "Yo, what I do affects my neighbor. What I do affects my brother. What I do affects my sister." You don't hear that here. You again, like just another portion of this that I always say. So y'all
And
probably heard me
we'll
say
tell them what Ubuntu means because most people don't know what Ubuntu means.
that's "I am because we are," right? That is.
And because but also I mean a person is a person because of people. So
Oh, right.
like so Ubuntu really comes from the phrase Ubuntu Ngumuntu Ngabantu. And that means a person is a person because of people. So you can't even identify if you didn't have a concept of other people. So
Exactly.
really, you base who you are off of unity,
Bro.
off of other people. So if you can't even do that, you
Yeah.
can't even be yourself. So right now
Yeah.
they have us thinking within individualism. And like Queen Joe Fro said, individualism is killing America. It's killing us. Yes,
Yeah.
I love what you just said right there, Queen. I'm not gonna lie. And I haven't talked to you in forever. I'm pretty sure you remember me, but it's good seeing you in here.
Yeah. So I got so Greek life, like BGLO, Black Greek Life Organizations in college, right? Now, historically, you do some research, you find out they're trying to copy the Boule. Okay, the Boule is really just trying to copy what was in Europe with the Masons and everything, right? You go from there, you copy, and again, it all leads you back to Africa. They're really copying the initiates in the process and Kemet of how you would actually get to those elder levels and whatnot, right? So essentially, with our BGLOs, we're still copying what they already had in Africa. We just do it in a distorted way. And I ain't gonna speak on it. You already know. Like we do it in a distorted way. Like to I am because we are is being one ship. You know, like that is like we just teach it in a distorted way. But that's what we're all just getting back to over and over. So again, you can look at Hispanic cultures, you can look at Caribbean, you can look at Asian, you can look at anybody. You'll see that they're more collective than they are here in Western societies.
And that's
So
where our power is in
exactly.
collectivism.
Um, I ain't gonna cap though. I'm about to have to go to sleep.
No. I think we had a great discussion, man. I
Yeah,
want to give thanks to everybody that came in here and built with us. This was beautiful. We didn't really know what to expect, but the engagement was fulfilling for me, and I know it was fulfilling for Zach as well. So if y'all don't know who we are, my name is Jalen. This is Zach, and we run a book club called Unlocked. And our slogan is Black liberation through education and putting solutions into actions. So we're trying to learn to help each other, not only for our own personal gain. So if y'all want to tap in with us on that level, y'all should hit on IG, follow us on Unlock TBC. And on this upcoming Sunday, we'll begin reading The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. Um, Before then, we will do another live like this and read the intro and have a similar type of discussion. But if y'all are interested in reading with us and being within our work study circle, we will have a Zoom meeting on Sunday, beginning that conversation to carry us through Black History Month and really all year. So we spreading that awareness, and we extend our Black experience to just America.
that's
But
the
we are
vital.
grander. We are,
That's the vital
and we were never slaves.
happens.
Facts.
So the like again, worldview. Realize like if someone's killing your water, taking away ways to survive, that is an act of war. That's not just we just oppressing people. No, 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 no. Cause we got people dying every day.
Facts. Facts.
So nah, this ain't no game. Like
So what we're doing the work to decolonize our consciousness. That's what the work that we're trying to do. If you go to our Instagram page at Unlocked TBC and you go into our bio, there's a link tree and you can find the link to our YouTube channel. But also, we just uploaded a video today introducing Pan-Africanism, introducing why we need to be Pan-Africanist, why it's important, who are the important figures, what Pan-Africanism is, what does the flag symbolize. So we dropped the first part of that video today. So if y'all go into our link tree on our profile, Unlocked, like you're opening Unlocked TBC, the book club. If you go on our IG, you can find that all on our link tree. And also there's a club registration form. So if you fill out the registration form, we'll be sending out an email with the book. And also that's how you will be getting the Zoom link to join in on Sunday.
I like what my bro from Maui. He
Correct.
said conscious African is one that can take traditional African culture and translate it into something that feeds the needs of the current and future populations without compromising its integrity. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
I
beautiful.
love that. I might screenshot that one real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead, hey, and send that to me too.
Yeah.
Like for real. Hey, y'all, he shout out to Sankofa DC. I met fam. Oh, my bad. That's not. My bad, bro. I'm thinking of someone else. My bad, fam.
Hey, it's all love though, brother. It's all
Y'all
love,
got,
man. We want to
hey, they
build with
pages
all
are
of
very
y'all, man.
similar. If it's super similar, bro. But shout out to you, fam. Please stay in contact, cause I know I be checking him out. He be on the real too.
Yeah, and follow us on our personal pages. Like today, I dropped a video talking about why history is important, or I got a video talking about how we can use our spirituality to aid us in liberation. So me and Zach both, even on our personal pages, post empowering content consistently, and we really just want to spread knowledge and help people wake up from this spell that European colonization has us under. That's me and Zach's purpose, and we both know it, and we live in that every day. So tap in with us, man. We want to spread wealth.
All right, so this is what we just now. Oh Lord, I dropped my book. This is what we reading now. The Mis-Education of the Negro. This is what we just now read. The intro, preface, and first chapter. The book that we are going to be tapping in as far as the actual book club is The Destruction of Black Civilization. Now, this not gonna I'm gonna be real with y'all. It's not like it's not like Walter Rodney's How Europe Underdeveloped Africans.
They don't know what that's like though. So you gotta.
That's okay. It's not like it's not like what's that book I said earlier? Between the World and Me.
Yeah,
Like,
it ain't.
this is more factual. Like this is like this was this and this was
This is
this.
gonna give you the hard hitting facts.
Yeah. So, just as a preface, it's gonna be a little drier than you may think. However, when you relate it to what exactly is going, like always try to relate again, like he said.
It ain't dry though. Let's not give it.
Okay.
It ain't dry.
Yeah, I'll say
Yeah.
we a little different on that because capitalism and slavery was killing me, but for you loved it. So like, but again, he said something that feeds the needs of the current and future populations. So when reading these books, actually always think like the future, past, like current, now, all in one. Sankofa. Think of now. Think of time as all as one. Don't think of time as something linear. Right? Think of it like
Past
we're all
affects the future.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a cycle.
Time don't go like this. Time like this.
Let that circle be unbroken.
That's a gem right there for y'all that caught it.
So again, Black liberation through education, putting solutions into action. Appreciate y'all for coming on.
Spreading love, man. It's all love. Love all of y'all. Thank y'all. Tay, Timothy, Obi, Boo, who just got in here, Carla, Deja, Marcus Bostic, Kyle Montreal, man, y'all my boys. Thank y'all for coming in here. I love y'all. Yasmin, Poppy, Queen Joe Fro, all of y'all. It's all love. Thank y'all.
All right, fam.
So we'll do this again, and thank y'all for coming in here.
All right, that.
But since you do not